Tonight, the world of sister wives is shaken to its very foundations, in a jaw-dropping legal decision that has left insiders and viewers alike stunned. Kody and Robyn Brown have been slapped with an enormous $2.4 million verdict. The court filings, just made public, expose a complex web of money mismanagement, hidden transfers, and heart-stopping betrayals. If you've thought the drama in the show is at an all-time high, what went down in that courtroom puts it into a whole different league. The hearing, according to sources, went on for more than 8 hours, and the tension was palpable right from the start. Judge Peterson, who is renowned for being extremely particular in her approach, started the session by examining Kody and Robyn's financial statements, which, at first glance, seemed run-of-the-mill. But the court soon discovered secret bank accounts, clandestine property transactions, and unreported transfers totaling more than $2 million that had not been revealed to the family. Insiders report that while the judge started going through the documents, Kody's face went white. Robyn, usually calm, could not keep up her cool while each of the revelations played out. The decision finally concluded that the two were responsible for paying $2.4 million in restitution, a figure which stunned even the most veteran watchers of Sister Wives controversy. Lawyers advocating on behalf of Christine, Janelle, and Meri submitted a string of evidence which highlighted misused finances, unauthorized real estate deals, and dubious contracts signed in secret from other relatives. The testimony consisted of emails, bank records, and even internal TLC records, all indicating a consistent pattern of financial deception by Kody and Robyn. The courtroom observers tell of a combination of gasps, whispers, and shocked silence as the figures were read into evidence. Kody, who has long identified himself as the patriarch and family's money man, suddenly seemed diminutive in the courtroom, his authority undermined in a very public fashion. Robyn's efforts to rationalize her participation were unsuccessful as the judge pointed out discrepancies in her testimony. The courtroom still reeled from shock over the first $2.4 million verdict. But what transpired next took the tension into overdrive. The judge focused then on particular financial moves that Kody and Robyn had made, moves that individually were small, but cumulatively totaled to a mind-boggling betrayal. Court records showed Kody to have had several accounts under various aliases, many of which were attached to properties purportedly owned by the family. Robyn, from testimony, was privy to a number of these accounts and was involved in authorizing these transfers, which no other family member had sanctioned. In one account, there was more than $900,000 that had been transferred quietly over 2 years. The lawyers for Christine and Janelle provided a chronology of these transfers indicating a pattern of deliberate concealment. Emails were being read aloud in court, revealing each one of the efforts to cover up the flow of funds. Judge Peterson stopped at one point and looked directly at Kody, stating, "It seems there was intentional intent to deceive the family and take advantage of their trust." Fans covering the case say the room was charged with electricity. Christine, visibly relaxed, whispered to her lawyer as the judge pointed out how Kody had skirted family meetings and hidden major financial moves. Janelle's look was one of stoic vindication. Months of careful record-keeping had paid off. Robyn, on the other hand, attempted to rationalize her moves as a misunderstanding, stating she didn't fully understand the implications of the transfers. The judge was firm. All discrepancies in her testimony were recorded, and the story created a scenario of concerted mismanagement with definite monetary ramifications. Court commentators afterward described that Kody and Robyn's attorneys had misjudged how involved and exhaustive Christine and Janelle's evidence was. Tracing emails, signatures, and bank records, the plaintiffs were able to chart a network of decisions that culminated directly in the whopping $2.4 million verdict. This wasn't about mismanagement, it was about responsibility for actions that hurt other family members directly. As the trial hearings continued, tension became palpable. All eyes were on Robyn and Kody, who were now realizing that the $2.4 million verdict was just the start. What amazed the family and the world was the proof of secret transfers that nobody could anticipate. Kody and Robyn were exposed by authorities to have conducted offshore banking tactics, transferring monies into accounts in various states as well as overseas. These were not random withdrawals. Every transfer was designed to circumvent family observation, a forensic accountant testified. "We tracked more than $600,000 in unexplained wire transfers over the last 3 years. Those transfers match directly with decisions Kody and Robyn made outside the family's knowledge. The courtroom gasped when the screen revealed a map of wire transfers, with lines radiating from local banks to overseas accounts. This photographic proof made it unmistakable. The pair had taken great pains to conceal the funds. Christine's jaw clenched when she heard the testimony, her hand digging into the edge of the courtroom table. Janelle's eyes became brimming with a combination of rage and relief. "It is like a veil has been lifted," she breathed. Reality was now unavoidable. Kody and Robyn had moved against the interests of the family for their own gain. Robyn attempted to play down the transfers, claiming she was following Kody's instructions, but the judge was swift to cut her short. "Intent does not excuse responsibility. Both of you signed off on those decisions, and that makes you responsible." Judge Peterson stated firmly. Experts following the case noted that Kody and Robyn's defense had hinged largely on obfuscating the paper trail of funds, hoping its complexity would cover up the wrongdoing. But the plaintiff's side had prepared for this, employing digital forensics and precise timelines to reveal every transaction. With the courtroom whispers rising louder, a new bombshell stunned all of them to their core. The plaintiffs revealed a string of untold property transactions, each cleverly concealed from the family, the combined amount, almost $800,000. Again, fuel for the fire in the case against Robyn and Kody. Documents disclosed that Robyn and Kody had bought upscale homes and investment properties, all in alternate names and LLCs. These were carefully timed to be made at times of significant family spending, so the wives would not even know they were being outspent. Given property, a beautiful lakeside cabin, had been purchased using money that was supposed to go into family savings. Another, a rental property in a higher-end community, was earning passive income unknown to the wives. Christine, her eyes wide with shock, muttered under her breath, "I can't believe we were kept in the dark all this time." Janelle's hands were shaking as she went through the papers. "These aren't errors. This is lying, plain and simple." Even outside of the courtroom, relatives voiced incredulity. Social media was awash with fans making guesses about the scale of secret funds, creating a widening bubble of betrayal and distrust. Judge Peterson, remaining composed but openly unimpressed, spoke directly to Kody and Robyn. "Trying to hide assets from those who are entitled to them is not just immoral, it is against the law. These properties will play a significant role in the judgment." Experts said these disclosures bolstered the plaintiff's case significantly, as the secret properties were evidence of willful behavior to divert family money. The timing of the purchases, combined with sophisticated financial arrangements, did not leave much to defend. The courtroom was quiet as the attorney for the plaintiffs played the first audio recording. Kody's voice rang out from the speakers, measured but cold, talking about how to divert funds from family accounts and into personal businesses. The recordings took up over a few years, crossing a series of conversations between Kody and a financial planner in which he laid out in clear terms how to hide assets from the other wives. Robyn's voice showed in some clips, concursing on nuances of wording to hide the transactions. Questions such as, "They'll never know, we just keep it in the LLC, and label it as maintenances sent" waves through the courtroom. Christine buried her face in her hands. I just can't believe this," she whispered. Meri balled her fists, jaw clenched. "This is the proof we needed. All those times they said we couldn't afford something, lies." Janelle, normally composed, breathed. Every argument over money. It was all a manipulation. Legal observers who were following the hearing said the recordings were incriminating testimony. According to experts in family law, the clips contradicted earlier sworn testimony from Kody and Robyn. They outlined a pattern of deliberate hiding. They made the plaintiff's claims for punitive damages stronger, showing willful deception. TLC, sometimes projected as an objective observer, came under scrutiny once more. Insiders suggest executives may have known about some transactions, but allowed them to continue, prioritizing dramatic content over financial transparency. The drama in the courtroom was only starting, as much as the audio tapes revealed intent. The forensic accounting team provided the figures that would really leave everybody speechless. Their 6+ years of books told a tale of systematic embezzlement that went far beyond what the family ever thought possible. The The forensic accountant's report indicated that Kody and Robyn had supposedly diverted more than $2.4 million from the family coffers, including income from show revenue, appearance fees, and sponsorship bonuses. These were significant discrepancies. The money was routed systematically through several LLCs, disguised with false titles such as maintenance costs, talent incentives, and project contingencies. The investigators thoroughly tracked the trail, $900,000 directly into Kody's personal company, not previously reported. $600,000 was utilized to fund Robyn's personal expenses, such as luxury shopping, travel, and private parties. $300,000 was spent on undisclosed investments, some reportedly made in the names of friends and family and third-party firms. The rest, $600,000, showed up as small transactions, cleverly masqueraded to not arouse suspicion in shared books. Christine audibly gasped as spreadsheets appeared on the courtroom screen, reflecting a chronological timeline connecting mismanaged funds to certain family events. Meri leaned forward, wide-eyed. All this time, every excuse, every delay, every argument about money, she grumbled, was only a cover-up. She growled. Janelle, usually measured, breathed, and we felt guilty for asking for help, for living like we were struggling when they were living in an entirely different reality. Family law analysts observing from afar noted the importance of the report. Concealment, direct money flow into personal accounts, defies the common family pot myth, discrediting Kody and Robyn's testimony. Breach of fiduciary duty. By siphoning off these monies, Kody is said to have broken the financial trust within the plural marriage, which is seriously taken within family courts. Foundation for punitive damages. The magnitude and intentional conduct behind these acts validate the plaintiff's claim for a sizable compensatory verdict, which became the eventual $2.4 million ruling beyond the figures. The report exposed the psychological cost on the family. Fees intended for children's education, medical care, and living allowances were diverted to keep up appearances and personal indulgences. This was a betrayal that went beyond money. It cut to the heart of trust and family integrity. The room fell silent as the judge leaned forward. Papers rustled, and the moment everyone had been waiting for had finally come. It was time for the final judgment. The moment that would seal the financial reckoning of Kody and Robyn. Having considered the evidence presented, including forensic reports, bank statements, and sworn affidavits, it is the finding of this court that Kody Brown and Robyn Brown are responsible for financial misconduct of $2.4 million. The judge declared, voice firm but measured. The words rang out in the courtroom, a combination of relief and shock washing over Christine, Janelle, and Meri cameras. Caught every expression, tears of vindication, relief sighs, and unmistakable shock written on Kody's face. Judgment was not merely a lump sum, it was precisely calculated to put back in order fairness for the concerned parties. As per court filings, Christine obtained $900,000, accounting for money diverted from accounts meant for children's education and family spending. Janelle was given $800,000, including lost contributions, splurges on luxuries by Robyn, and reimbursement for late payments in collaborative family ventures. Meri obtained $700,000, a blend of stolen money and punitive damages acknowledging financial deception, inflicting emotional distress. The judge noted that the amounts were not random. Each allocation was tied directly to documented evidence of fund diversion, personal gain, and breaches of fiduciary duty. Kody's posture slumped. Robyn's face paled. "This is overwhelming," Kody breathed. Through lips that trembled, Robyn whispered to him, "We'll figure it out, we always do." But the shake in her voice revealed her doubt. In the meanwhile, Christine, Janelle, and Meri shared quiet nods of approval, a tacit acceptance that justice, at least for this instance, had been done. Officials monitoring the trial pointed out that this $2.4 million verdict is unprecedented in the realm of plural marriage financial cases. The ruling not only holds Kody and Robyn accountable for specific misappropriations, but also sets a precedent for transparency and equitable distribution within complex family structures. Legal analysts pointed out that the thorough documentation of funds and intent made this judgment unusually firm and difficult to appeal. Financial advisors warned that attempts to circumvent the ruling could result in additional penalties, interest, and potential liens against property. For viewers, the human element resonated as strongly as the legal one. This wasn't about money. At least not just about money. It was about trust, betrayal, and taking back control of one's life and family history. The verdict amounted to a return to equilibrium, a moment of vindication in an otherwise contentious saga. As the gavel came down, the gravity of the $2.4 million verdict began to register. The courtroom cleared out slowly, but the effects of this decision were already radiating far beyond courtroom walls. Cameras and reporters thronged outside, waiting to catch reactions in the drama that was unfolding. Christine, Janelle, and Meri emerged together, their faces a combination of triumph and relief. "It feels like a weight was lifted," Christine said, looking at Janelle. "Finally, accountability." Kody and Robyn had a completely different reality to face. They were escorted through the crowd by security, their faces ashen, eyes nervously darting. Friends who knew the couple said they saw Kody under his breath saying, "We'll appeal, we have to. We can't let this happen." Robyn, shaking, attempted to keep her cool, but her pain was evident even with sunglasses intact. Social media blew up just minutes after the decision. Social media users used hashtags such as #SisterWivesJudgment and #CodyRobynFraud as viewers discussed what it means. Fans expressed outrage, shock, and even vindication, finally justice for the wives. One tweet read, $2.4 million? That's massive, but they deserve it, another commented. Meanwhile, some Kody supporters expressed disbelief, claiming the verdict was harsh. Sources close to the family suggested tensions were rising between Kody and his extended circle. Family members were said to be dividing their loyalties, with some siding with the judgment and others feeling for Kody and Robyn. Legal commentators opined about how this judgment would influence family dynamics in the long run, pointing out that trust within the family has been broken and needs years to repair. Economic independence for the other wives will embolden them to demand greater control in future decisions. Apples may extend the resolution and further increase the stress and public scrutiny. The audience was attracted by more than the figures, it was the people's story. Audiences could connect with betrayal, frustration at seeking justice, and emotional pain of standing up to one's rights against influential people in your own home. Inside the press tent, journalists dissected every line of the ruling, dissecting the $2.4 million judgment line by line. Pundits argued over whether Kody and Robyn could actually afford to pay that amount without selling assets. Forecasts of real estate sales, high-end product auctions, and asset freezes started going around in large numbers. The ripple effect of the $2.4 million verdict didn't end at the courthouse doors. When word got out, social media went haywire. Fans analyzed minute details, and even armchair viewers of Sister Wives sensed the weight of the decision. Across Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, watchers reacted with outrage, sympathy, and incredulity. Memes circulated showing Kody and Robyn's stunned expressions, while hashtags like #SisterWivesJudgment and #CodyFraudExposed began trending. Even former cast members weighed in. Some expressed surprise at the sum. Others acknowledged the thoroughness of the court's investigation. Analysts and fans alike debated whether Kody and Robyn could possibly recover financially after such a significant judgment. Inside the Brown household, emotions ran high. Christine said she felt vindicated, quietly telling close friends, "Finally, the truth is out." Janelle, on the other hand, started going over the family's remaining holdings, working out how the judgment would impact property ownership and long-term strategies. She spoke a blend of relief and continued worry, realizing the court's decision brought back justice, but scars within the emotional and relational realms would endure. Meri, generally reserved in public, made a short public statement. "This isn't about the money, it is about accountability and making our children grow up in a fair environment." Kody and Robyn, confronted with reality, speedily met with financial experts and lawyers. Reports indicate that they explored various means of appealing, negotiating settlements, or restructuring payments, but that each avenue had major obstacles. Financial analysts highlighted the fact that the court had expected delaying or reducing payments and had inserted provisions to avoid concealment or evasion of assets. Kody and Robyn's choices were now legally bounded, and they had to deal with the ramifications squarely. This ruling brought to the fore a greater discussion regarding financial responsibility in merged households, particularly where business and domestic finances overlap. Experts pointed out that courts increasingly examine shared spending and assets in intricate family setups. Being open about financial records is no longer a choice. Absence of records can result in hefty fines. Family members who are not actively involved in mismanagement are also emotionally and legally impacted. For the readers, the tale goes beyond dollars and cents. It is about repercussions, ethics, and the long overdue acknowledgement of misdeeds. Veteran Brown's viewers felt a sense of closure, seeing justice served in a case that obsessed fans for months, with the $2.4 million judgment hanging over them. The next question everyone was asking was, how would Kody and Robyn pay for it? And what was to become of their properties? Court documents showed that Kody and Robyn shared ownership of a number of valuable properties, such as the Coyote Pass Mansion, Flagstaff Estate, and other Utah real estate investments. Legal experts immediately noted that these properties could now serve as main sources for paying the judgment. The family members close to the family reported that Kody and Robyn had initially underestimated the cost of the ruling. The advisors cautioned that they may be forced to sell assets, and the couple will have to make tough choices regarding their properties and investments. Coyote Pass, which was a reflection of the affluence and power of Kody and Robyn, now seemed like a burden. The court required any transfer or sale to be disclosed in full, and efforts to hide assets could result in further fines or contempt proceedings. Insiders speculated that Kody was grappling with the fact that the home he thought of as a legacy could now be sold to pay debts. Robyn, while publicly composed, privately expressed stress and anxiety about the potential lifestyle changes and public scrutiny. Family members were not immune to the pressure. Christine, Janelle, and Meri reportedly had mixed feelings, relief that justice was served, yet concern over the impact on the younger children who live across the households. Dinners at the family home were strained, with conversation shying away from direct accusations, but tension simmered beneath the surface. Elaboration by experts showed that the judgment did not exclude liquid assets. Personal belongings, cars, and even high-end merchandise could be included in the settlement if Kody and Robyn were unable to pay the amount in cash or traditional means. Full cooperation was further stressed by the court. Any effort to conceal assets might qualify as fraudulent conveyance, which could raise the issue to criminal charges. Lawyers observed that this judgment is framed to be watertight, with very little scope for flexibility. For supporters and enthusiasts, the property debacle in progress provided a concrete element to the drama. No longer just numbers on a screen, the loss of residences and way of life was a visual and emotional validation that the repercussions were real. Social media rang with speculation. Would Coyote Pass hit the market? Undefined. Would the Browns be able to keep their seclusion under such intense magnification? As the $2.4 million verdict became more than just a news flash, the actual drama paled in comparison to the personal and emotional drain that it was putting on Kody and Robyn. Behind the scenes and courtroom documents, the stress was building in ways no one could avoid. Family sources indicated that Kody and Robyn were starting to display signs of tension and disagreement regarding financial plans. Robyn reportedly wanted a more transparent approach, considering selling off properties immediately to avoid further legal entanglements. Kody, however, was hesitant, often emphasizing legacy and pride, delaying decisions that could have mitigated losses. This disagreement sparked frequent arguments, some of which were witnessed by their children and household staff. Sources reported a charged environment at Coyote Pass, with money, legal commitments, and futures at the top of the family's daily agenda. Meanwhile, social media followers started to pick up on small changes in Kody and Robyn's public behavior. Pictures and posts that formerly showcased family togetherness and opulence now appeared tense or posed, causing followers to wonder about cracks in their marriage. Reactions and memes highlighting financial turmoil and stress followed, adding pressure from the public to what was already in private. Family experts indicate that financial tension has a way of amplifying tension that may be already present. For the Browns, judgment not only put their lifestyle in jeopardy, but put trust and communication to the test. Robyn's anger over perceived delays and Kody's possessiveness over his assets developed a feedback loop, increasing emotional tension. The courts fanned the flames. Court-appointed accountants were keeping Kody and Robyn's assets under close scrutiny to ensure they were following the terms of the decree. Any perceived wrong move, like late payments or trying to hide property value, could lead to charges of contempt or further fines. For the Browns, it meant that private choices were now legally entangled, with little opportunity for personal resolution. People were not only fascinated by the dollar amounts at stake, but by the personal aspects of the story. People could observe the tension, the spats, and the hard choices playing out in real time. This caused tension and empathy, as people envisioned themselves going through the same issues within their own households. As judgment hung over their heads ever more perilously, tension in the Brown family began creeping out into the open. The monetary effects were only part of it. The emotional burden was now unavoidable. Insiders came forward with the news that Kody and Robyn were dealing with endless disagreements about how to manage money. Kody, who had been the traditional head of household finances, grappled with the fact that even his meticulous planning was no longer sufficient. Robyn, meanwhile, was becoming more adamant about safeguarding her own personal holdings and mitigating risk, causing an obvious chasm in decision-making. Friends reported observing the couple arguing late at night, pacing the corridors of Coyote Pass. Others even reported feeling an aura of tension that seemed to permeate over the estate, indicating that the pressure of the court decision was spilling over into everyday life. The ruling did not only affect Kody and Robyn, but spread across the family. Christine and Janelle, who publicly remained supportive, were also starting to feel differences in their interactions. Simple conversations about children's schedules or family events occasionally turned into subtle arguments over money and accountability. One source claimed, "The kids are starting to sense it too. Even if they don't understand the full financial picture, they feel the tension, and that affects everyone's mood in the household." Beyond the family, public scrutiny added another layer of pressure. Social media, online communities, and reality television enthusiasts closely followed what was happening. All moves Kody and Robyn made, from trivial shopping to managing public appearances, were analyzed for hints of stress, hiding things, or having quarrels. Legal experts observed that the public spotlight can prove to be an inadvertent fulcrum, prompting the Browns to proceed cautiously, lest they further complicate their situation. Each announcement to the press or Twitter update would be admissible as evidence in subsequent legal actions or appeals. To the audience, these updates provided an unusual peek into the personal aspects of court fights. The melodramatic headlines finally gained faces, voices, and tangible expressions, making an investment narrative an empathetic story of confrontation, tension, and interfamily drama. With the $2.4 million judgment official, all attention went to properties Kody and Robyn owned. Everyone's question was, would they be required to sell their cherished Coyote Pass? And, if so, how would this impact the delicate family dynamics that have been carefully crafted over years? Coyote Pass was always more than just a home. It was a reflection of the Brown family's success and unity. The large house had been the culmination of years of hard work, but now it had become a possible casualty of legal and financial strife. Psychic sources close to the family indicated that Kody was considering several alternatives: refinancing, selling off portions, and even dipping into personal funds. Robyn did have concerns about the long-term repercussions. "This isn't about money," she said, according to reports. "Selling portions of our home could shatter the stability of the family." Stress among these property choices was palpable. Family gatherings became more subdued, and even relaxed moments had an undercurrent of stress. The other women had described Kody as more reserved than normal, with Robyn seemingly on edge all the time, waiting for the next financial blow. Meanwhile, Christine and Janelle watched silently, considering how the real estate debacle would impact their own places in the family. Some aides suspect this increased scrutiny helped bring about a subtle change in family power, suggesting instances of inner conflict. Legal experts note that sales of property following a multi-million-dollar verdict are seldom simple. Title problems, equity, and mortgage liens can slow or complicate sales, compelling families such as the Browns to take wise, strategic action. Money managers also warn that quick sales could diminish the overall return, creating additional challenges in fulfilling the judgment. The Browns are said to be seeking the opinion of several experts to ensure all possibilities are considered before irreversible actions are taken. For the viewers, the loss of Coyote Pass as a possibility creates even more drama. The house is a character in and of itself in the sister-wives saga, and seeing it become an issue adds an emotional stake beyond finances. Viewers are left wondering, who is going to make the decisions, and can the family get through this financial hardship unscathed? As the drama unfolded in the courtroom came to a close, the harsh reality of the $2.4 million verdict started to set in for Kody, Robyn, and the rest of the sister wives' family. Fans had been tracking the highs and lows of Brown's lives for years, but this was a whole different level of stakes: financial, emotional, and public. Back within the family, there were divided reactions. Christine and Janelle were said to feel vindicated, viewing judgment as evidence that someone is held accountable, particularly after all those years of arguments and accusations. For Robyn and Kody, the mood was decidedly different. A combination of surprise, irritation, and concern over the future. Friends and insiders say Kody is quietly strategizing his next steps, trying to keep a grip on family matters while dealing with the public scrutiny that comes with such a publicized financial setback. Robyn appeared more transparently nervous, worried about how the judgment would affect their children and wider family. Robyn and Kody's social media and fan fora exploded in hours following the announcement of the judgment. Reactions varied from anger at Kody and Robyn to commiseration with the difficulties that now lie ahead for them. Analysts noted that the judgment could reshape public perception of the Browns, potentially affecting appearances, sponsorships, and even their future media opportunities. Many viewers also speculated about the domino effect of the judgment on Coyote Pass and other properties. Would the Browns need to liquidate assets? How would this affect their lifestyle and ability to maintain family cohesion? The vagueness stoked both intrigue and unease in viewers, maintaining the news fresh on multiple platforms. Legally, the ruling is a precedent-establishing moment. Multi-million-dollar court rulings within reality television families do not occur often, and the Browns case highlights the intricate mesh of personal economics and public visibility. Experts are advising Kody and Robyn to consider installment plans, the liquidation of assets, or negotiated settlements to pay the judgment in full. Numerous financial advisors warn that these extreme measures have long-term effects, such as tax implications and possible family conflict regarding inheritance or shared property for the Browns. Now, every move has to be carefully planned and strategically advised legally, weighing current necessities against future security. Beyond money, the decision has rekindled previous tensions within the family. Private conversations allegedly increased in frequency, and the family's dynamics shifted subtly. This incident may change Kody's leadership in the family. Insiders suggest, while others believe it will create stronger bonds if the family comes together to overcome the challenge. For the children, seeing the aftermath is an eye-opener in accountability, responsibility, and the fallout of decisions made by adults. The Browns are said to be attempting to protect them from the worst of the public criticism, as they also sort through their own feelings and fights behind closed doors. As the saga continues to play out, one thing is certain: the $2.4 million ruling is more than simply a figure. It is a turning point in the Kody, Robyn, and the sister wives' lives. Audiences are left wondering, will the family come out stronger, or will this judgment pave the way for deeper divisions? Undefined what comes next could rebrand the Browns' legacy, their media profile, and the fan dynamics that have been observed for decades. Undefined other world watches, the clock ticks, and the fallout from this stunning judgment is far from finished.